There are plenty of stories, people saying that once their senses as in their third eye, open, it haunts them for life. For the person who wrote this story says, it all began when I was only 11. That night, on a quiet village road, I met what I later call the twin ghosts, and they would return decades later to stand beside my newborn child's cradle. Good evening, fellow creeps. Once again, welcome to another episode. I'm Kim, your storyteller. Well, before we begin, like usual, if you have yet to do so, please help me like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get on to the story.
This is Creepy with Coffee.
This is a true story I want to share with all of you, a story of where everything began. The tale of twin ghosts happened 30 years ago, and it marked the moment when my spiritual side first opened. At that time, I was just 11 years old. That morning, as usual, my grandmother, my sister, and I left the house before dawn. We walked along the village road carrying a flashlight. Since it was still pitch dark around 5 a.m., we needed to reach the bus station before the call to prayer because my sister's school bus was scheduled to leave a little after 6. On the way to send her off, I suddenly noticed two figures walking side by side. They were dressed in white with long, flowing hair. Within seconds, I saw both of them turn left, disappearing straight into the patch of cassava plants. I brushed it off. I thought they were just people taking an early walk. Not once did it cross my mind that they weren't human. The strange thing was, I never saw their feet. All I saw was the back of their bodies and their long hair swaying as they walked. On the way back, curiosity got the better of me. I asked my grandmother, "Nay, who goes to buy koi fish this early in the morning? I saw two people just now. They went straight into the cassava patch. Were they the tenants staying at Tok Mida's house?" I don't know why exactly this construction of the sentence, but this is what the person wrote. My grandmother looked at me and said, "There was no one buying koi at this hour. If you ever see something like that again, don't talk to it." Still, I didn't think too much about it. The next day, my grandmother told me more. She said that long time ago, the jasmine tree in front of our house, there had been sightings of Pontianak. Villagers swore it once rode on the back of a motorbike, asking to get off near the big tree off the edge of the village. But when the rider looked back after dropping it off, it was already perched in the branches, making a screeching sound. As a child, when I heard screeching, I imagined it like a sound of a rooster. But who knows what such a creature truly sounds like. Grandmother also told me that this spirit carried a strange sign. If you smell a sweet fragrance from afar, it meant it was near. But if you smell something foul, it meant it was just right beside you. Then she added something else I'll never forget. Jasmine trees were among the favorites of jinn. I even later read an article that said the same thing. But the story of twin ghosts didn't end there. It resurfaced 21 years later. I'll never forget it because I still remember the first time my sight opened. I'd seen those same two figures, what I call the twin ghosts. This time, I saw them again after giving birth to my first child. I was in confinement, exhausted, and had just put my baby to sleep in the cradle. I laid down at the very edge of the bed and drifted off. Between sleeping and waking up, I suddenly felt a crushing weight on my body, like something pressing me down. I could only open my eyes slightly. My voice stuck in my throat, and then I saw them. 2 figures dressed in white, long hair falling to their waists, standing on either side of my baby's cradle. From where I lay, I could only see their torsos and the hair. They were identical, both completely the same. Thank God I never saw their faces. But unlike before, this time I was looking at them from the front. Summoning all my strength, I forced the word out of my mouth. Allahu Akbar. And in that instant, they vanished. That was 21 years later from I first saw them. But it wasn't just the second time my spiritual sight opened. It was actually the last. Because for nearly 20 years in between, I saw countless things I would never wish on anyone. I saw spirits smiling directly at me, spirits floating in the air, a hairy hand crawling out of the wall, and an old man with no face, just smooth skin where features should have been, and many more I can no longer even bear to describe. It went on and on until finally I sought help through Islamic healing. Only then, it stopped. So that's the story of twin ghosts, the first beings I ever saw when my hijab was open. Thank you to those who listened all the way through, even though I've never been good at weaving words to frighten readers. But I lived it, and I'll never forget it. Well, I guess this is a story of a third eye, meaning I say that those people who can actually see things. Well, for those who might have missed out the story, I actually told another story which is from my friend who also has the third eye, and she saw something that is actually quite terrifying, a headless woman to be exact. If you have missed out that episode, go back to my playlist and check it out. Well, any of my listeners are actually having the same thing, which is the third eye? Do you have stories to tell? Well, you know where to reach me. You can also put your story down below in the comments. Until the next episode, good night.